Начинается церемония вручения верительных грамот. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Федеративной Республики Нигерии в Российской Федерации Стив Дэвис Угба. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Иорданского Хашемитского королевства в Российской Федерации Амаджад Оде Амара Адайли. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Гана в Российской Федерации Лесли Акуа Аккя Апокуваре. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Корея в Российской Федерации У Юнгын. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Арабской Республики Египет в Российской Федерации Ихаб Ахмед Талаат Наср. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Королевства Саудовская Аравия в Российской Федерации Раид бен Халид Кримли. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Гамбии в Российской Федерации Джайнаба Ба. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Австрийской Республики в Российской Федерации Йоханнес Айгнер. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Объединенных Арабских Эмиратов в Российской Федерации Маадат Хареп Мегейр Джабер Аль-Хейли. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Эль-Сальвадор в Российской Федерации Эфрен Арнольдо Берналь Чевес. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Конго в Российской Федерации Давид Мадука. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Куба в Российской Федерации Эрардо Пеньявер Порталь. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Социалистической Республики Вьетнам в Российской Федерации Нгоды Кмань. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Черногории в Российской Федерации Рамис Башич. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Итальянской Республики в Российской Федерации Паскуале Террачанно. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Кот-д'Ивуар в Российской Федерации Роже Ньенго. чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Бенин в Российской Федерации Нукпо Климан Кики.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to welcome you at the Kremlin at the official ceremony of presenting the credentials. My congratulations on the official start of your diplomatic service in Russia. Incumbent upon you is a mission of huge importance, that of fully promoting the relations of the countries you represent here with Russia. Also, of strengthening for these ends the political dialogue, expanding our trade and economic ties, deepening our humanitarian and cultural exchanges, as well as people-to-people contacts. We, for one, are willing to support your constructive initiatives. You can count upon the help and assistance of the Russian leadership, the Russian authorities, business, and the public of our country. Today, the role of diplomacy and diplomats is taken on a new significance indeed. The state of affairs in the world is a source of concern. The world is becoming increasingly chaotic, and yet we do hope that sooner or later common sense will prevail and the international affairs are going to get back on a constructive track. The world system as a whole is going to become more stable and predictable. Diplomats have a whole array of avenues to pursue. Our goal is to come up with the best solutions based on a balance of different interests. Diplomats' role is to facilitate a collective search for large-scale answers to challenges and threats such as terrorism, illegal trafficking of drugs, organized crime, the WMD proliferation, and the climate change. As for Russia, it will continue to consistently advocate a stronger global and regional security and stability. It will continue to rigorously and comprehensively observe its international commitments, build a cooperation with its partners on a constructive, mutually respectful basis guided by international legal norms as well as the UN Charter. We'll continue to promote a peaceful, positive, future-oriented agenda. We'll work for the sake of sustainable development, welfare, and prosperity of humankind. Ladies and gentlemen, present here today are the heads of 17 diplomatic missions. As is tradition, I'll say a couple of words about our interaction with each of the countries that you represent. We highly assess our relations with Nigeria, an important partner of Russia's in the African continent. We advocate the expansion of mutually beneficial Russian-Nigerian ties, including our cooperation in the hydrocarbons and aluminium production, as well as in the military and technicals field. This year marks 55 years since the diplomatic ties were established between Russia and Jordan. We are satisfied with the positive outcomes that we've managed to achieve in the main areas of our cooperation. I'd like to point out that September 2017 saw the signing of an MOU between the Eurasian Economic Commission and Jordan. We maintain a regular constructive dialogue with King Abdallah II. In the course of another round of negotiations that took place in February in Moscow, we talked about the key issues related to further deepening our bilateral relations as well as coordinating our joint efforts in Syria. We highly value the contribution of our Jordanian counterparts to an efficient functioning of the de-escalation zone in the south of Syria. The foundations of Russia's cooperation with Ghana date back to more than 6 decades ago. We've accumulated a good experience of cooperation in the trade and economic as well as in the political field. As of now, we're working through the promising projects in the nuclear and in the oil production, as well as exploring the possibility of supplying Russian aircraft, helicopters and automobiles to Ghana. We maintain friendly relations with the Republic of Korea. We see a positive dynamics of trade and economic ties. Last year, our trade increased by more than 27%, up to over $19 billion. The Korean investors participate in advanced development programs in the Russian Far East. The issues of bilateral cooperation as well as the international agenda, including the situation in the Korean Peninsula, is what we plan to discuss with President Moon Jae-in in the course of his visit to Russia that is forthcoming in June this year. We're increasing and reinforcing our strategic partnership with Egypt. In August, our countries are going to celebrate the 75th anniversary since the establishment of diplomatic relations. The Russian-Egyptian interaction is indeed an active one. I refer in particular to the construction of Egypt's first ever nuclear power plant, as well as establishing in the neighborhood of Port Said a Russian industrial zone, as well as the deepening military and technical cooperation. I'd like to emphasize that today we are resuming the regular flights between the capitals of our two countries. We'll explore further the opportunities for resuming other routes. In December, Cairo hosted fruitful cooperations with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi of Egypt. He and myself maintain a permanent dialogue particular on important international and regional issues with regard to which the positions of our countries are either similar or identical. I warmly congratulated the President of Egypt on his decisive victory in the recent elections. Last year, October, saw the state visit of King Salman of Saudi Arabia to Russia, which gave an important political impetus to the cooperation of our two countries. We are developing mutually beneficial cooperation in diverse areas, promoting trade and economic projects, coordinating our steps in the world hydrocarbons market. The cooperation of Russia and Saudi Arabia is an important factor of ensuring stability and security in the Middle East and North Africa. Our ties with the Republic of the Gambia have traditionally been constructive. Russia is interested in expanding its economic cooperation, including through increasing the supplies of products of our machine engineering and agriculture to the Gambia. We'll further expand the practice of training specialists for the Gambia in the Russian universities. The relations between Russia and Austria have a rich history. They are developing in a fruitful and friendly vein, which has been testified by the outcomes of the recent work and visit to Moscow of Federal Chancellor Sebastian Kurz. Russia highly values the policy of permanent neutrality of Austria, as well as its well-balanced position on the important issues of the European and international agenda. This June marks 50 years since the beginning of supplies of natural gas to Austria from our countries. Back then, it was the launch of a large-scale energy project immune to short-term political fluctuations. Its implementations has continued to ensure a reliable export of Russian gas to European states, thereby ensuring their energy stability and security. We develop steadily our relations with the United Arab Emirates. These relations are diverse and include the implementation of joint projects in outer space exploration, in the nuclear, in agriculture, in tourism. Of particular importance is the well-fostered cooperation between our two countries in investment. Moscow and Abu Dhabi maintain a useful dialogue on the situation in the Gulf as well as in the Middle East in general. We're interested in developing our ties to El Salvador. This is certainly going to be facilitated by the visa-free regime introduced between our two countries, the contacts between our foreign and defense ministries and our parliaments. It is important that the representatives of the business of El Salvador regularly participate in the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Given the fact that In 2018-2019, El Salvador serves as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council. Will build up our contacts on the important international issues. Russia's cooperation with the Republic of Congo has traditionally been a friendly one. As part of our bilateral cooperation, we implement a number of important projects, including the construction of an oil pipeline 1,335 kilometers long. In February, Rosatom and the Ministry of Science of Congo signed an MOU. I would also like to say that more than 7,000 Congolese citizens have graduated from Soviet or Russian universities. The Republic of Cuba is Russia's long-standing and reliable ally. There are bonds of friendship and solidarity between our nations. Our bilateral cooperation is of a strategic nature. We implement large-scale joint projects in energy, metal production, transport infrastructure, as well as medicine. We expand our cultural and humanitarian exchanges. As of now, Cuba is steadily pursuing a path of social and economic renewal. In this regard, additional opportunities are opening up for deepening a mutually beneficial trade and economic cooperation between our two countries. Cuba has traditionally had a high standing in the international arena. We are satisfied with the quality of Russian-Cuban dialogue on the international agenda. Russia and Vietnam have successfully been developing the relationship of a strategic partnership. We maintain active political contacts at the highest levels. We fostered a coordination between our two countries, in particular in multilateral organizations in the Asia-Pacific. Vietnam is one of Russia's leading trade partners. Last year, our trade increased by a third. We have a close military and technical cooperation. The intergovernmental commission responsible for that is very efficient and functioning. As a whole, our bilateral cooperation is on the rise. The current state of affairs in the relations between Russia and Montenegro doesn't certainly live up to the century-long traditions of brotherly friendship and spiritual communion of our nations. Russia advocates building ties with Montenegro on a mutually beneficial basis. We attach a great importance to our cooperation with Italy, one of our key partners in the European continent. We have managed to accumulate an important experience of joint work in different domains. We know that the Italian business is interested in building up trade and economic ties between our countries. There are promising projects in avionics, chemistry, gas processing, and other industries as well. Russia is willing to intensify its cooperation with Italy on international agenda, especially given Italy's chairmanship in the OSCE this year. Our cultural exchanges have always been comprehensive, very deep and profound, serving as a model to emulate for other countries. I'd like to point out that this year Italy is pursuing a large-scale initiative of Russian citizens, which has on schedule more than 250 events in different Italian cities and towns. Russia's cooperation with the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire is mostly focused on trade and economic cooperation. Russia supplies chemical products, food to Côte d'Ivoire and imports from their cocoa and its derivatives. As part of the humanitarian aid, we dispatch on a regular basis medicines and medical equipment from Russia to the Republic. As of now, Côte d'Ivoire is a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council, and we are willing to engage with the Republic on the UN platform as well. Our relations with Benin are developing in a constructive vein. We have cooperation in energy and transport. Russia exports food and chemical products. More than 2.5 thousand citizens of Benin have graduated from Russian universities. Ladies and gentlemen, what I've said is but partially reflecting the diverse nature of Russia's relations with the countries that you represent. We're hopeful that, given your active engagement, these relations are going to dynamically develop further for the good of our peoples, for the interests of international stability and security. I am confident that your stay will give you a possibility to better know our country, to get acquainted with its rich history and culture, will give you new, unforgettable experience. I'd like to once again wish you success in your important mission, which is far from easy, but very important. And I'd like to thank you for your attention. Thank you.